Well, there have been some changes to the laws of cricket. Some might consider them to be big changes. Others might think it's very minor, and some might think it's been a long time overdue. But we now, in the official laws of the game, we have batters and we have a batter instead of having batsman and batsman. Now, it's caused a bit of a kerfuffle in the entire world of cricket, as pretty much any change does. But I've got the best person to actually talk to me about why the MCC have done this and why it's important and the history of it as well. And that is the laws manager, Fraser, Stewart, or who I like to think of as the laws guru. He is the man who knows everything about the laws of this game. Thanks so much for joining me, Fraser.
Thanks, Mel. Nice to join you, and thanks for that introduction.
Oh, it's actually an understated introduction for all that you do. You're there at Lords at the moment. You've made these adjustments. Can you just explain to us, first of all, why the MCC decided it was important to make the change?
Well, it's something we've been considering for a while. When we made the new Code of Laws in 2017, it was discussed long and hard, but we decided to stick with it. But I think women's cricket, girls' cricket has made huge strides in recent years. We saw the huge crowd in Australia for the World Cup final. We obviously had a sellout at Lords for the World Cup final here. The 100 in the UK this year with the men's and women's double headers worked really well. And at junior levels all around the world, girls' cricket is really booming. And it's right that the wording in the laws of cricket reflect the diversity, that this is a game for both men and women, boys and girls. And our feedback showed that girls and women in particular didn't particularly like being referred to as batsmen. Batters is a term that was already in the game in some areas. Many media outlets, websites, those sorts of things had already decided to go the sort of the more gender neutral route. The word batter already exists in baseball, which is obviously, it's not cricket, but it is a similar sort of throw ball, hit ball sport. And we felt that now was the right time to get the wording right. It's only a very small change, but to get the wording so that it applies equally to boys and girls and to men and women. And it's an easier, less clunky way than we could have put, batsman / batter or something in the laws. But then the laws become a very clunky read. We did change the laws so everything is his stroke, her, him stroke, his stroke, him, etc. We changed that in 2017, and this was the next logical step, and we certainly think it's the right thing to do.
Now you mentioned that the term's been around in the game. Just to give us an idea, there has been an evolution in the words used in cricket to describe players from the past. I think originally that the person who bats might have even been known as a striker, and we've had fieldsmen in the past as well. So what are some of the words that have been used in the past for various players?
Well, striker, you mentioned it, is still very much in the laws, because we use obviously two batters out there, and we refer to them as the striker and the non-striker, because sometimes the laws you have to get very specific on which one's which. Talk about the striker's end, the non-striker's end. So we still use that term. The more generic term for the pair of the two people out batting used to be the batsmen or a batsman. Now it's a batter. So that the striker is still the key. Going back right to the dawn of cricket, I believe the wicketkeeper was known as the stumper, which was the stopper. The stopper. So the wicketkeeper was known as the stopper. The fielder only changed in 2000. It used to be in the laws as a fieldsman. And I remember growing up hearing Richie Benaud, he would always talk about the fieldsman. That was changed in 2000 to fielder. So we already have bowler, fielder, wicket keeper. So batter is hardly a great stretch, but we do know that there are some people who this has ruffled feathers because of the tradition and seeing that the word batsman has gone. But I think it probably makes more of an impact for the women and girls who now feel included, rather than for the men and boys who now have to be known by something different.
I mean, you coach young girls, don't you? What can you give us an idea of have you had that conversation with the young girls you coach, and what do they tell you?
Yeah, but both sort of professionally and personally in a way, because here at MCC and Lords, we do lots of coaching for kids, and we have lots of girls coming through various developed programs that we do. So we've spoken to them, but also I'm a father of 2 girls. I run the local girls section at our local club, and I've spoken to them about it, and they felt strongly that batsman was not the right word for them, and that's just a small example. That wasn't our only sort of work that we did on looking into this, but girls wanted to have a word that made them feel included in the sport, and that's why the change we're making, we feel is definitely the right one.
And I know, I mean, a lot of people will come back and say, and probably the silliest argument is that batter is for chips. That really doesn't hold, or batter is for fish, even for fish or for dosa. That doesn't really hold water, does it? When you think of how many meanings there are for different words in cricket, including the word cricket. There's a little insect that happens to be known as a cricket.
Exactly. Language is there. It's wonderful. It constantly evolves. People get language wrong. People still refer to the pitch as the wicket, and that's something that people get wrong, but it's accepted. So yeah, people will always, there'll still be probably quite a few people who will resist this change. They may want to continue because they've always done it. I find myself having to get used to using the word batter rather than batsman. There will be people who slip up and say the wrong, well, what is technically the wrong word. That's okay. It will take time for language to evolve, but as you say, words do have different meanings, but words are important, and it's right to get the language correct.
It is indeed, and I do notice that that various state associations in Australia have since you made the announcement issued statements supporting it as well. So it looks like you're getting a lot of support within the game.
Well, many playing regulations had actually already been written. I think Australia has perhaps led the way on this, with many playing regulations already having batter in. The 100 this year, the playing regulations for that had the word batter in. So, and as I said, certainly Cricinfo, BBC, they'd already sort of editorially decided to go with that. So, not saying we were last to the party on it, but there had been these changes sort of made in playing regulations already. So it's not perhaps such the seismic shift that many are suggesting.
Well, thank you for explaining that to us, Fraser. We really appreciate it, and it's great to see that the MCC is evolving along with the game of cricket itself. And until I can next see you at Lords, we'll just say batter up.